Who knew that actor Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, had some hoarding issues? Newly released photos and videos of the interior of their Santa Fe, New Mexico mansion illustrate the problem. With an estimated $80 million fortune, the Hackmans could easily indulge in retail therapy. I'm thinking this may have been more of a problem for Betsy than Gene, because I'm seeing gilt packages, and when I see gilt, I associate that with luxury clothing items and accessories. What's odd is that people in Santa Fe who knew the Hackmans said that they stopped socializing when COVID hit and they never really got back into it. So it's interesting that somebody in the household would keep buying things. I'm assuming these are newly purchased items. Maybe they were purchased years ago and were just never moved from point A to point B in a closet. You know, and unfortunately, when you're famous and you're worth big bucks, people want to know everything. And now we know that the mansion where Betsy and Gene Hackman lived was rodent-free, the main house, and the main house was also free of rodent feces. Somehow that main house, despite all that clutter, managed to keep rodent-free, which is a wonder when you see so much stuff in the spaces. It was in the garage and the two guest casitas where rodents and rodent feces were found. I find it odd that people with this level of financial success and ability would not have regular cleaning people coming in to clean out those garages, the guest houses. But we've also heard that they were very private people, very sort of reclusive. So maybe they just didn't want that many people on their private property. And it sounds like Betsy really was trying to keep Gene away from other people. You know, in his fragile health, any type of illness could lead to his demise. But you would think they would have regular, I like to call it, staff to help keep up the property. On a really sad note, we can see in the video their German Shepherd who was found waiting anxiously next to his mistress, Betsy Arakawa. Animals know things. They know when we're sick. They know when we're injured. I think they know when we're no longer moving, and they have the anxiety and the desire to get help. They say that Betsy Arakawa passed away around February 12th. She died first from hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. Hantavirus is spread via rodent droppings and urine. And then, of course, Gene Hackman died a few days later on February 18th from severe heart disease, exacerbated by Alzheimer's disease and kidney disease as well. I was just watching the movie Birdcage and I'd forgotten that he was in it. And he did such a great job. If you haven't seen that movie with Robin Williams and Gene Hackman, you should watch it. The authorities believe that Gene Hackman was likely trying to walk outside before his death. An investigator described Hackman's extremities to be red and purple in color and said he appeared to be stiff and his mouth was open. There was a pair of black sunglasses to the left of his body and a black walking cane to his right. And when deputies entered the home, they smelled gas, and that's why they thought the victims had perhaps died of carbon monoxide poisoning, but that was later ruled out. The New Mexico Department of Public Health inspected the home weeks after the bodies were found, and they concluded that the property was a, quote, breeding ground for the hantavirus. Again, the main house was found to be clean and free of rodents, but there were rodents and rodent droppings in the 3 garages. They had 3, I guess. The 2 casitas on the property. And they also said that there were 3 sheds on the land that were also accessible to vermin. And in addition, live and dead rodents were found on the property along with traps. It sounds like this problem was out of control. We also learned that Betsy Arakawa was researching medical conditions related to COVID-19 and flu-like symptoms starting on February 8th and going all the way up until February 12th when it's believed she died. It's too bad that she didn't self-diagnose herself with the hantavirus, because maybe she would have made sure that she got to medical professionals and maybe they could have intervened, and in that case maybe she would still be alive. And also Gene Hackman, because I think he needed somebody to make sure he was drinking and eating and being left to wander like that. I believe that's what led to the decline of his body and his death prematurely. Who knows how long he could have lived? It's such a sad story. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time on Bed Crime Stories.